It builds every third party that shows JFK said.
Hello viewers, how you all doing? My name is Ukela Prince and I'm glad to welcome you once again to Talk Your Own Show. Today I have a very special guest in the studio. My guest tonight, she is not just a professional, she's also, a royal highness. My guest today, is someone who is a specialist in the banking industry, someone who is a community leader, someone who has been graced with so many. If I continue today, I think I can take the whole show just trying to describe the person I have here in the studio because her profile is so loaded. Ladies and gentlemen, I have Lady Abba in the studio, our own, Her Royal Highness, Adejisola Atiba. Your Highness, how are you doing?
I am
Let me
well.
say, Your Majesty. How are you?
I'm well.
My, oh my. If all majesties should look like this, you know that the kingdom will receive, blessings will just keep flowing like that. Oh my goodness me. You're welcome.
Thank you so
Nice
much.
having you. How have you been?
I'm good. And you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay.
So let me say congratulations to you first and foremost as the Obantapa Nana Akosua. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. The Mpotwema one, which is the Queen Mother, right, in charge of development. My goodness me, can you tell us about this? Oh my God. Let me start from this. Tell me, Your Majesty. Wow.
A lot of people have actually asked that question.
Really?
The fact that I'm an African born in Nigeria and being given a title
All the way from Ghana.
with the brothers, the Ghanaian people, and people were wondering if my husband is a Ghanaian or I'm related to Ghanaians. But I would say yes, I'm related to Ghanaians by virtue of the fact that we're all Africans.
Okay.
But what brought me there, I would say, is the community. Working in the community, supporting everyone of African heritage. And that was what prompted my friend, my brother, a king in the Ghanaian kingdom, His Royal Highness King Nanayo Osamwon, to actually make the introduction and nominate me for this title with another king in Ghana.
Wow. Which is the Nanata.
Nana.
Kakra.
Yes.
That's the 9th, right?
Yes, of Gomoa Ojobi traditional area of central region of Ghana.
That's interesting. Now, Your Majesty, so what really inspired your transition from Nigeria to global leadership? And how do you navigate cultural differences?
When I came to Canada, seriously, I was just coming to mind my own business. But Canada kind of schooled me because when I came, everybody around me was saying, no, you cannot do anything except work in the factory because that's what they were doing. And I decided to start volunteering. And in Nigeria, you don't work for nothing, right? But here, they work for nothing, and you kind of gain experience that way. So I started volunteering, and then I was taken to the bank to open an account. And the person that was opening my account, Hudson is his name, is from Trinidad and Tobago. Okay. Thinking back now, I would say Austin was actually my first mentor in Canada.
Wow.
Because he asked me, he said, why are you not working in the bank? You said you worked in the bank back home. When he asked that question, I looked at him, I'm like, should I answer him or not? Because he doesn't know my journey. Prior to that, I must have sent out over 100 resumes. Not one phone call or response back. So using the terms now, I would have said, oh, maybe I was in a depressive mode. But, that voice told me, what's the worst that can happen? Answer him. So I told him, I said, I've sent a lot of resumes out. I don't even know where to start. And he said, if you don't mind, there's somebody here that could guide you because they just hired her. Lo and behold, this person is also a Nigerian.
Wow.
And a Yoruba for that matter.
Wow.
So really, it was that journey of not knowing, of Canada not being too friendly, whether it's whether it's the people I met or, just not knowing where to go, that really drew me to how can I do better? Do I want somebody else to go through what I went through? Even if it's just to say, yes, you can. Even if it's just to let them believe that, yes, it may be tough, but it's going to be okay. That was really what drew me into community. I always tell people that I'm a community geek.
That's right.
That's what drew me into community, because of the fact that you've been through the path, you want to show somebody else the path.
Going through your profile, I also saw that you have empowered a lot of women. You are, not just in the banking industry, you as a community person, and quite a lot of things, that so interest me. And I would love to ask, what actually drives your passion for empowering women and underrepresented groups? Also, I also saw that between 2019 and 2024, you have 17 awards. How do you feel with this? Lastly, I'm giving you 3 questions now. Banking is my profession, but community is my passion. What inspired this quote? And what is the difference?
So maybe I should start with the last one.
Please do.
So I've been a banker all my life, actually. I started working in the bank in 1989. And I love what I do. And, have had ups and downs. At times we go through things in life, we don't know why. But I've had ups and downs even in Nigeria and, came to Canada. And that was my focus. I want to get into the banking world. And like I said, everybody was saying, you can't. But eventually I met this lady, Modupe, who now is my second mentor in Canada.
Wow.
Because she guided me and I was able to get into the bank. But I'm in the bank. I don't know how to go forward. I don't know how to go backward. I don't know whether to go sideways, or I didn't know how to do anything. But because God is on my side, I'm not the type that keep quiet. So I asked someone, I said, you seem important. What do you do? He told me he's a financial planner. And so I said, how do I become a financial planner now? His name is Carmen. That is my third mentor in Canada. Wow. I said, you need to do these exams. And I started doing the exams. Naijano, they carry laughs, right? Because I already have the background. So I did the exams. So I didn't say that I started the work in the bank in RBC as a teller. Wow. So I did all the exams to make me a financial planner. I love banking. Banking is very futuristic. Banking helps people, to plan for their lives, whether it's short, medium, or long-term goals. Yeah. And so when I got to a certain place I was comfortable in myself, that was when I told myself, Adejisola, you know what you went through. You got to do something. And so in my living room, I called about 10 people together and I said, this is what I'm thinking. What do you guys think? And they said, it's very true. It was when I started that journey that I realized that there's a lot of work in the community. People come in not knowing what they want to do. You see doctors, lawyers, surgeons. I've seen a surgeon walking on the street not knowing where to go. But if we're able to mentor each other, if we're able to understand where people are, to be able to mentor, to be able to sponsor, if our children are to see different people that looks like them, that are doing great and they can believe, because when you have children, they see you as a mom and dad, that's all. But when they see somebody else, it's, ooh, that looks like me. I want to be like that.
Right.
And so those things made me realize that there's a lot of work in the community. Wow. And I just zoomed in to do the work. Now, when I started, I didn't know that there was accolades for community work. I just felt there's a need. Let's
meet it.
Work. Let's meet it. But then the accolades started coming. I'm like, to be candid, I've had to say no to some accolades because I'm like,
you guys bring them to me, right?
I'm like, enough already. But I'm grateful. I'm really grateful to be recognized. I did not start the journey for the recognition. And that's why I tell a lot of people, your purpose needs, you need to know your purpose,
That's
right? My purpose, God have made me know that my purpose is to inspire, to motivate, to support other people. Because as I'm doing it, I am getting better myself. You can see that I'm talking without even pausing. This is not me naturally. This comes after practice and practice and practice. And so the accolades came, I thank God. But it wasn't because I wanted accolades. It was because there's a job to be done. And
you did it.
I did it. Now to the first question. Do you want to remind me? Because I'm getting old.
Yeah, you virtually answered all of them because I talked about, okay, what drives your passion for empowering women, which is partly what you have also said. From all that, you had that, you saw a need and then you were able to meet those needs.
Absolutely. And women especially, right? We need support. We need to see, a lot of women are not strong. Right? A lot of women are not strong and they just need to see that woman that can stand tall and say, yes, we're here together. Let's walk this path together. Let's talk together. Let's reason together. Let's pray together.
Now, on that note, before we go on break, when we come back, you have an event coming. So I would love to hear you talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. So then we also wrap up with the event that is coming up in the month of November. But before we go on break, I want to ask, I'm looking at you also being part of digital transformation and change management. So I'm looking at how do you help clients, navigate workforce management during times of change?
As you already know, COVID taught us a lot of things, right? One of the things I thought is how to pivot, how to change your lane, right? COVID came, normally we will meet in person and all that, but COVID came and we all have to relearn and unlearn certain things. And so being agile, being flexible, that's the name of the game now. A lot of people will say, if it's not broken, don't fix it. I say, if it's not broken, break it, re-engineer it, and look for how you can make it better. Because if you're not changing, times are changing, and you probably will be left behind. When it comes to workforce planning, during COVID, we had to pivot. Usually, we will hire from certain groups of people, but that was not available. And we had to look into, the community and look for green people and coach them virtually to be the best they can be.
My goodness.
And again, that workforce planning also impacted the organization, the nonprofit world, because before COVID, we would do 3 events in a year because it has to be in person. You have to look for money to do it. But with COVID, and I know that COVID has a lot of negativity around it, but it allows us to be able to bring people together globally.
That's right.
Right? And we went from 3 events to 80 events.
Wow. Just hold the thought. All right, viewers, we'll be going on a little break. We'll be right back. Okay, thank you.
It builds every third party that shows can be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And I still have here with me the one and only Lady Aba, Her Royal Majesty. Royal Majesty, thank you. I think it's been an awesome time. I wish we have all the time to discuss today because there is so much that I want to, and tap from you, that my viewers will be able to benefit. Because having you like this in the studio, I think is amazing, and with so much wealth of knowledge. And but it's all good. We can't do more than the timing, right? Okay. Now, before we talk about your event coming up in the couple of weeks, let's look at the area of diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is part of what you are really involved in, the DEI. So, as a DEI advocate, now, what strategies do you recommend for organizations to foster inclusive cultures?
The first word that comes to mind is communication. Communication. It's important for us to sit at the table and have conversations with each other. It's important for us to educate. That's the second word, educate ourselves. Because what you don't know, you don't know. And the third one is open-minded. You know, it's important for us to be open to learn new things. I say communication because if we are not talking to each other, there's no how we can understand each other. There's no how we can educate each other. There's no how we can learn about each other. You know, during the coronation, the people that came were flabbergasted because of the culture, because of the color, because of the painting, because of everything that stood for. They were like, I've never seen anything like this before. And it gave them a better understanding to see, and it was just a peek. What have they really seen? But the point is they were introduced to something new.
That's right.
And it allows them to appreciate it. So when it comes to equity, diversity, and inclusion, we all know that Canada, our great country, is diversified. It is a country where you stand in front of your house and to your right you could see a Chinese person, to your left you could see an Indian person, to your front you could see a Caucasian, and you're just all, there's a lot of people.
That's right.
But what I found out based on working in the community is the fact that we still have a long way when it comes to inclusion.
Now, that being said, I'm also curious, you know, for in the aspect of leadership. So how can leaders balance diversity initiatives with operational demands?
That's a really tough one. It's just having an open mind to be inclusive of other cultures, because if there is a leadership table where other cultures are not present, there's no how you would know what's in the mind of those cultures. But if they're present, it kind of is like spice it up. You know, like our jollof rice. It just spices it up because different perspectives will be at the table.
Well, it's why you mentioned jollof rice. You know, Ghanaians just gave you, they just made you. So let me ask you, the Ghanaian rice and Nigerian rice.
Oh, what is the question?
You know the question. I was in that table of discourse last weekend in Winnipeg. So let me bring it to you now.
So because
Ghanaians, you're listening. Nigerians, you're listening.
So because I am partly Nigerian and partly Ghana, both of them are amazing.
You know, I decided to eat Ghanaian rice this past weekend. Okay. I said, let me eat this rice. Why are these guys making so much? You know, okay, let me not go into that debate. so they don't attack my majesty here. All right, so it's good. Now I want you to share a success story, you know, from your DEI, you know, work and what impact it did. You know, did it take actually, or did it have?
Wow. A success story.
Yeah, just for 1 minute, so we can go into the event that is coming up.
So a success story will be the fact that I started living in Alton region, Milton, about 8 years ago. And it was Black History, and I realized that there was nothing happening. And after, you know, a lot of talking, I'm happy to say that I actually made that happen in the town of Milton for the very first time in 2020.
Wow.
And since then, believe you me, again, it's all about communication. It's all about educating. It's all about open-mindedness. What you know, what you don't know, you don't know. But when people take it upon themselves to educate, it makes the community better for everyone.
That's interesting. You know, like I said, I would have loved to talk to you about the TEDx speaker and author. I would have loved to talk about, motivational speaking in community leadership and, even your financial planning and lifestyle in coaching and all that. I would have loved to discuss all that. But let's go to power of inclusion with the theme, A Look Within. Talk to us about this.
So, Power of Inclusion is the flagship series of Council of Nigerian Professionals, which is now going to be Council of African Professionals very soon. This is our 4th edition. We started it because of what I told you about. We need to communicate with ourselves. We need to educate ourselves. We need to be open-minded. In 2021 was when we started it. And Power of Inclusion in 2021 was what is the fuss about? And I'm happy to say that the woman, the one and only woman that opened it was Honorable Jean Augustine. She was the first speaker for Power of Inclusion. What's the fuss about? The next year we had Power of Inclusion, Strength in Our Diversity. And last year we had Power of Inclusion, Catalyst for Change. Now these programs are conversations that we have. It's a 3-day program where we bring diverse leaders from different walks of life, different cultures, to come and have a conversation around inclusion. Because like I said, if we're not talking about it, who's going to talk about it? We always say that, or somebody's going to do something. When somebody does something, nothing gets done, right? And so this year, it is Power of Inclusion, A Look Within. It's a 5-day program. We're upping the ante. And I'm happy to say that the hall we're using was donated to us by Liuna 183. We're going to be using North York, somewhere around in Wilson. And we have amazing people supporting us. RBC Royal Bank is a supporter of us. The government of Canada is a part sponsor. And of course, we have a lot of small businesses that will be supporting us. And so Power of Inclusion, A Look Within, is going to tackle about 6 different topics. One is the importance of legal system in inclusion. We know that the legal system still needs a lot of tweaking. And so I've
been wondering how the legal system, the correlation between that and inclusion. So I've been trying to think aloud and also to see the possible correlation between that.
So if we go into it, believe you me, we will not stop. But what I would tell you
Please, we have to stop.
What I would tell you is, on that day, we're actually having the Chief of Police of Alton Region join us. We have Honorable Justice Ivan Andre, a Justice of the Supreme Court of Ontario, join us. So Chief of Police of Alton Region is Chief Stephen Tanner, and then we're having a lawyer join us, Titi Olatunji. So you can imagine the mix. So we're going to be hearing from their perspective.
What are you trying to get out of this? When you talk about inclusion and the legal system,
how can we make the legal system better? What are some of the recommendations? What are some of the pain points that we need to work on? Because whether we like it or not, some of the laws were passed because of the people that were living here, right? Now there's a lot more diversity. Does it work for everybody? If it doesn't work for everybody, what can we do about it? And that is part of the inclusion. And so the next day, it is the importance of governance. Because we can do all we want if the government is not involved. What have we really achieved, right? Take a look at what's happening now in the international students. Governments make policies. Is the policy affecting us, or is it, making things better or making things the other way? And then we're having the importance of technology in inclusion. A lot of people have been talking about the importance of having data from different backgrounds to support technology. right? And that's what we want to talk about. We want to talk about the importance of non-governmental and charitable organizations in inclusion, because in this part of the world, living in Nigeria, you say, oh, the government's got to do everything. But living in this part of the world, we realize that the government does their part, non-profit, charitable organizations do their part. And together, we're able to make things better.
That's right.
So how can we continue to make that change with a lens on inclusion? And then we're going to talk about the importance of religion. Most religions tend to, we see everyone against each other, at each other's throats. How can leaders encourage people to listen, to learn, to communicate with each other? And of course, finally, finance. Right? There's so many stories that you hear of people saying, I did not realize I'm unbankable. What does credit mean? We come to this part of the world and people are telling us credit, credit, credit.
Yeah.
What is credit?
It's credit.
How can we make finance more inclusive of people coming into Canada, calling Canada home? And those are the areas that we're going to be exploring. And finally, on the final day, which is Saturday, because we're doing it from Tuesday to Saturday, November 19th to November 23rd.
That's a whole lot, man.
Yes, on Saturday, we're having an award and gala night. There's a lot of people doing amazing things in the community. We want to say thank you for what you're doing, and also to encourage people that are not doing something to take a leaf from all those people and do something.
Wow. So are there tickets to be sold? Or
Yes.
So what's any more further information you want people to know?
Yes. So to purchase your ticket and take part in all these sessions that we talked about, go to our website, www.cnp, C as in Charlie, N as in Nancy, P as in Peter, N as in Nancy, G as in good, O as in orange, cmpngo.ca. And the tickets, are there to be purchased, and all the sessions are there. The website will continue to be uploaded as we continue to finalize on our speakers. But we have amazing speakers lined up. We're going to learn a lot about all these topics I talked about.
Apart from the guests you've mentioned, is there any notable speaker you also want to mention that will be there on that through this event? I know you've mentioned a few of them.
Yes, seriously, there are a lot of people.
Okay.
There are a lot of people that are going to be. But like I said, follow our site. But what I do want everybody to know is that if you're not speaking for anything, if you don't stand for anything, you will fall for anything. Make your voice count. Be a part of the conversation. Join us in this pursuit of ensuring that Canada is actually an amazing place to live.
Thank you so much, Atiba. In 30 seconds, I want you to, because I'm anchoring all of this today, and I am looking at being successful and fulfilled. You are a successful person. So, there are people who are successful but are not fulfilled. So, what does it take to be a fulfilled, successful person?
I claim it. I claim it. There's no Adejisola, there's no Lady Abba without God. God is everything. So with him there's peace. And that's why I said God gave me my purpose. I know what my purpose is. And that's important. To be successful, you need to believe in God. And you need to understand your purpose. And not only that, I can't stand here without the support of my husband, without the support of my children. And I will
family is key.
Family is important. And I will add, I can't do this job alone. That is why there's something called board of directors. That is why there's something called volunteers. And I cannot name everybody, but you know yourself. Ebere Morgan, Ifwange Kumba, Claire Nsong, Lima Ngaza, Derek Hamo Amin, Shade Ayigwe.
If I let her, she will know the entire community. So if your name has not been mentioned, don't worry. She wants to mention your names, but I just interjected.
Ola Ifide.
Thank you. Thank you, Lady Abba. Nice having you in the studio today.
Thank you for having me. To everybody I did not mention, you know yourself.
Yes.
Thank you
She'll
for all you
backstage,
do.
okay?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We wish you well, and we hope and we trust that it's going to be a great event coming.
Thank you.
In the month of November.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. All right, viewers. So that's our show for today. Nice having you here. Cheers.
It builds as a third party that shows
The church boy,
KF Kennedy said.